No footage from a sci-fi movie, but these robots already exist and are used for peaceful purposes. However, every medal or every robot has two sides, because at the other end of the range of increasing automation are killer robots. Weapon systems that can independently select and attack their targets. Machines that decide what they will destroy or who they will kill. At the UN in Geneva, the meeting of the Group of Governmental Experts on Lethal Autonomous Weapons Systems was held in March. The Holy See delegation in Geneva also participated, as it always does. The issue is a complicated interweaving of technical details, bureaucratic and legal considerations. Now here is my conversation with the Holy See's permanent representative to the UN in Geneva, who attended the meetings. Thou shalt not kill. Now here, on EWTN TV UN blog. Hello. Against the background of the Ukraine war, the meetings of the UN in Geneva of the Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons, CCW, have gained importance. One of the focal points are the so-called killer robots, lethal autonomous weapon systems. His Excellency Archbishop Fortunatus Nwachukwu participated in the meetings. Good afternoon, Excellency.
Good afternoon, Christian.
Explain to us why the Holy See finds it necessary to participate in discussions on tools of war at all.
Well, Christian, thank you again. Thank you for having me this afternoon. The bottom line of everything regarding weapons and wars is the commandment, thou shalt not kill, that we have in the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 13. And that is the bottom line. Of course, human beings, being who we are, often have our own interests, and quite often the interests conflict. And then we have conflicts, and they turn into armed conflicts. And I think precisely of Jesus responding to the Pharisees that asked him, why they were given the permission to divorce, when Jesus told them that it is against the law to divorce. Jesus, if we remember very well, in Matthew chapter 19, verse 8, told them, it is because of your hard-heartedness that Moses permitted you to divorce. It was not that way from the beginning. The same thing also with the whole question of wars. It was not that way in the plan of God. God does not want us to kill. God does not want us to go to wars. But because human beings get into conflicts, then we have the conventions on certain conventional weapons. And then we have to distinguish between the conventional weapons and the weapons of mass destruction. The weapons of mass destruction, we mean nuclear weapons, we mean biological, bacteriological weapons, we mean chemical weapons, those that destroy massively. And then the conventional weapons are those that are normally used, and firearms, even combat aircraft and combat ships, and so on and so forth.
Excellency, let me explain to our viewers. In order to discuss the development and use of weapon systems, states came together to form this convention back in 1983. Recently, government experts groups have focused on discussing lethal autonomous weapon systems, the so-called killer robots. This is because there are still no legal binding regulations for the production and use of such weapon systems. Your delegation was present at the meetings.
Now, the Holy See has been very active in the meetings of this group of governmental experts, because the Holy See is party to the Convention on certain conventional weapons. The Holy See is there to be a kind of conscience to the deliberations. And that is what it has done also at the meeting of the GGE, that is the Group of Governmental Experts, dealing with this question of lethal autonomous weapons. The Holy See actually played a role in bringing in the ethical consideration and ethical dimension to the suggestions, to the proposals of the GGE. And that is the major role of the Holy See, being the conscience of these meetings and focusing attention not only on the commercial aspects or the interests of the great nations, but also and especially on the need to protect and focus on the dignity of the human person.
101 years ago, on January 25, 1921, Czech writer Karel Čapek wrote a play and invented a new word for it: robot. The plot of the play is simple. Robots rebel against their creators, which has dire consequences for humanity. Excellency, as far as killer robots, if such were to be used or will be used, with whom lies the legal responsibility of the actions of robots?
Well, thank you, Christian. Of course, this is a very complicated, very complex issue, because you can also think of the person that developed the weapon, you think of the person that sold the weapon, you think of the person that employed the weapon, or the government that authorized the weapon. Or you can also think of the gentleman who is controlling the weapon, who is giving it immediate directives on how to act. So it is because of this complicated nature of this weapon that the Holy See has all the time focused on the question of responsibility and accountability. And because there is no legally binding instrument guiding the development and the employment of these weapons at the moment, they become like free, dangerous weapons rolling about there. And as you say, they are killer robots. They do not have the capacity, ability of judgment that we have through human reason. That is why the Holy See has insisted that there is need to have a certain control over these weapons. So it is necessary that we get a legally binding instrument, because with a legally binding instrument, states are going to have the responsibility because they are going to sign to these instruments and are going to be held responsible when they go against the stipulations of such instrument. Certainly not many states, not all the states are in favor of a legally binding instrument. We need a legally binding instrument. And that is why the Holy See has insisted in that direction. And I can assure you that many states are with the Holy See in this direction. Only the very militarily powerful states are hesitant in this regard.
The campaign to stop killer robots warns the technologies that will be used in autonomous weapons reduce humans to data and make them vulnerable. the ultimate form of digital dehumanization. Excellency, are words and papers from the United Nations enough to ensure that governments comply with agreements? In the end, with or without agreements, surely all that matters is serious determination to ban these weapon systems.
Well, that's true. What you're saying is true, and the Holy See is very strong on its position in this. And I can assure you, the Holy See actually has also support. There are many states that do not want these weapons to be let loose on us, on humanity. The fact is that there are also commercial interests, and that is why the Holy See has been insisting on specifically binding instrument. And the Holy See has even gone further because we are dealing with the area of artificial intelligence. Because, for example, the question of the use of the cyberspace, where we have also the use of all manipulation of all these non-human actors in the field of conflicts. And so the Holy See, during the last, the sixth review conference, the Holy See made a very important suggestion, proposal, that of creating an international agency on artificial intelligence, an agency that would be akin to the existing agency on nuclear weapons, the International Atomic Agency, Atomic Energy Agency that we have in Vienna. Maybe the creation of such an agency for artificial intelligence would create a forum for states to get together and talk about the useful employment of artificial intelligence, and not just the commercial and destructive use of artificial intelligence and these killer robots.
Last year, Pope Francis launched the Foundation for Artificial Intelligence, called Renaissance, and made clear, quote, "algorithms also require a moral dimension," end quote. The foundation grew out of the rules of conduct Rome Call for AI Ethics of the Pontifical Academy for Life for an ethical approach to artificial intelligence. On February 28, 2020, the Academy, Bishop Vincenzo Paglia, Microsoft President Brad Smith, IBM Vice President John Kelly III, as well as the Director General of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, Ku Dong-yu, and the Ministry of Innovations, part of the Italian government, signed the document. With an eye towards a new Al Gore ethics, the signatories pledge to call for the development of artificial intelligence that serves every human being and humanity as a whole, that respects the dignity of the human person so that every individual can benefit from the advances of technology, and that does not have the sole goal of increasing profit or progressively replacing humans in the workplace. The Foundation's mission is to disseminate this code throughout the world.